Phil. My name is Davis.
And my name's Cam.
And we are two besties from Indiana, now living here in the gorgeous New York City. Have you heard of it, Cam?
The Big Apple. I have.
All right. On episode 3 with us today, we're going to be talking about the holidays. We're going to be talking about family. We're going to be talking about how to navigate holidays with your family. And this will be interesting because, well, Cam and I have pretty healthy relationships with our family, but we hear that some of you don't. So we're going to be a beacon in the light, and we're going to work it out for you on the remix.
I would say nobody's perfect, and there's brightness in the dark. So yeah, we can talk about it, help navigate it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll give you all the tips, tricks, and answer all the questions that you have been dying to ask, the questions that have been keeping you up at night, and the questions that you thought you had answered, but you're going to soon find out that you hadn't. But before we get into it, Cam, what's up? How are you?
Oh, it's been a week. Let me just say on the way here. So first off, I got my New York City driver's license this week. So like it's in the mail. It's coming my way.
Welcome to New York.
Thank you. But when I was on the train right here, I was kind of like, I got off the train when I was coming to your apartment, and I saw that like my back latch was open, and I was
What do you mean your back latch?
Like the backlash of my book bag. Like I had like an
Okay.
extra pouch in the back, and I was like, I kind of thought to myself, oh my God, why is that open? And then I was like, oh my God, because I had my social security card and my passport in that pouch, and it was not there. Because I took it to
On your way here?
license, on my way here. Because I was like, oh my
To
God,
record the podcast.
yeah, to come here to your apartment. And I was like, did I remember to take out my passport and social security card? So I had kind of like a small 2 or 3 minutes where I just thought like my life was over, my credit score ruined.
How is your credit score, like in general?
Identity. It's good. I've worked hard on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You seem like someone who'd work hard on it.
Thank you. That I know it's a drag, but I really have.
My first real fight I had with my first and really only roommate in New York, shout out to Moss, love you, baby, was our first real capital R fight was we'd almost been living together for a full year. We were looking for new places to live because we were like getting outpriced of our Hell's Kitchen apartment.
As one does.
As one does, yeah, rite of passage. And he asked me how my credit score was, and I was like, it's fine. Like, never had a problem in the world. I'm the luckiest girl alive. Like, there's no issues. And I looked at it literally once because I really, in general, can't be bothered. And I think it said, what is it if it's not like great? It's like fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if it says fine, but it's something fine
It's like,
adjacent.
Yeah.
And so I was like, perfect. Also, mind you, I have no debt, baby. I pay my cards on time. I'm living, like, the government is not looking for me. You know what I mean? Nor are the banks, nor are the money lenders, nor the debt collectors. And so imagine my shock when I found out that whatever the word was, like fine, adequate, whatever it was, is actually not that great.
It's not.
It's not that great but it was because I had gotten a credit card for the first time like junior or senior year of college. And so the only thing working against me was the time. And so he was like, how dare you lie to me? How dare you try to put us out on the streets? Like, how dare you like be so irresponsible? And I'm like,
it is kind of crazy. Like you had just not really any idea how the credit system worked. But I will grant you, the way the credit system works is totally nonsensical. So like to get a good credit report is like a little bit of a game.
it is in fact stupid as fuck, and I could spend the entirety of the podcast talking about it. Yeah. Episode 16, we're going to be taking on the credit system in the United States. So stay tuned. We will be diving into this more in depth.
To bring this full circle, I did remember to take my passport and social security card out. It was not stolen somewhere. So, I should be fine. I shouldn't have my identity stolen in the near future.
Yay.
There's always tomorrow.
Will to live.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, did I tell you about what happened when I was on my way to get my New York driver's license?
I don't think so.
I wasted no time. This was like my first year living in New York. I wanted that license. I actually think I lost my old one, which is why I went to go get a new one so early. And I was running So a few minutes behind. Not as I used to, but I'm still a somewhat almost chronically late person, or as I like to call it, optimistic.
Mm.
And so I'm
Gay
on
time. Gay time. You're running on gay
gay
time.
time. Yeah, yeah. Well, I like to live in the present moment. I can't be living too far into the future, you know? And I don't think I should be faulted for that personally. But anyway, so I'm in a rush. I'm rushing to the DMV. I'm on a city bike. And if you tuned into episode 2, then you know about my love, my affinity for the city bike. If you haven't, then go back and listen right now. But I hit a girl.
Not again.
If this woman is listening right now, I'm so sorry. She was a cute, small Asian girl crossing the street in Hell's Kitchen, and I came in on that e-bike, guns a-blazing. It was cold, like she was shuffling, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And she kind of just like hunched over, gave herself like a little hug, and like, I don't think she said any words to me. I also like,
did she fall?
She didn't fall.
Okay.
Well, as I was approaching her, I was braking.
Yeah.
But it was kind of one of those like, you know, squirrel about to get hit by a car. It's kind of looking right, left. It suddenly loses all survival instincts. That was kind of her in this moment, not to like victim shame.
Victim blaming.
Yeah, victim blame. I do think if we were to take it to court, one would probably call it my fault. But I think that's just being a white man in 2024.
I'm sorry, but also like there's no scenario in New York where like a city biker has hit a pedestrian where it's like ever the pedestrian's fault. Because let me just say, having been on the other side of it, I've never gotten hit by a city bike yet. But just seeing the way that you function on city bikes, like I can't imagine it would be anybody else's fault but yours.
It is the only place where I know true freedom. I'm sliding under semis. I'm ramping strollers.
The city
I'm swinging from stoplights. It is, every time I get on one of those, it's like a rebirth, kind of, for me. I rear-ended a cab once. It was a hit and run. That one I don't feel as bad about. But I do feel, my heart goes out to this woman. I think she's fine. But anyway, and then I went and I got a new driver's license. So
it was a good week for us. Yeah, I will say also, this is gonna be very timely, but like the drones thing, like still kind of like waiting to see how that works out. Have you been like following this?
The drones thing.
The drones over New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw a video on Twitter of Bethany Frankel from the old seasons of the Real Housewives of New York, which mind you, I didn't even watch. So she's more of, I really only know her in a very canonized type of way. I know her as
skinny girl,
Lady Liberty, baby. Like that. She, I think in a lot of ways is New York.
Okay, word.
And yeah, the set style, I know her. She was talking about how her connections in the Pentagon were telling her that bad things were happening. And then I scrolled the comments on Twitter for, I would say like 17 to 46 seconds. And then I kind of got bored. And that's about how much information I have. So can you fill the listener and I in? This will be coming out next week. So
I think
on Christmas.
She said that I basically like I'll give you this sum of it and like try 30 seconds, put a nice bow on it. Is basically she said that the drones are actually looking for suitcase suitcase nukes. We're laughing now, probably like this episode will never get published and Bethany Frankel will have her laugh. But she was basically saying that like, and it's been like a popular conspiracy theory that the drones are circling over looking for like a nuclear weapon that has been snuck into the United States.
Oh my God.
So that's like the sum of it. But I would just say like, it is really insane how people will, let's say, jump to the worst possible conclusion. Because that is actually the worst possible conclusion you could think of. It was like why there's drones over New Jersey.
Right. Oh my gosh. Someone must have smuggled a nuke into the United States. I think one thing that comforts me, not that I think I'm like the most intelligent person on this planet. However, if I was tasked with smuggling a nuke into the United States, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, it does. I think it seems really objectively challenging. So I think, in that in mind, I think we're good.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. We will find out, as they say, but I think we're fine with that. I just I've been battling the mass hysteria this week, so
Has this been affecting you on a psycho, spiritual, emotional level?
no.
Okay. Yeah,
It's just interesting to watch. I think it's interesting. The only thing that's like been really doing that for me is like the Ru. I didn't know RuPaul made Christmas music. I will say
okay.
so that
Hey, what's it called? Hey, sis, it's Christmas. Do you know about this?
yes.
Oh, now you do.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean look it up. It's beautiful, heart-wrenching. It really is like
It takes you on a journey.
It really has. I would say that's the only thing that's really like changed the course of my week in like one way or another.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought it up because Christmas is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm celebrating. I'm cheering. I'm also kind of involved on the outskirts of the Jewish community these days. And Hanukkah.
Oh, you are in your like.
I'm in my Kabbalah era.
You're in your Kabbalah era.
Yeah. If you catch me out on the streets with a little red string around my wrist, don't act surprised.
Don't act shocked.
Don't act shocked. I am feeling so merry. I bought myself a little bit tree. It is just out of shot. My cats have been surprisingly good about it. They attacked it a little bit. I was just thinking about this though. It must be very confusing for them because under any other circumstance, like a shiny little thing hanging like that, in every single other case would be a toy. And like they don't have, I would say, a lot of understanding of, they don't know anything about politics. They don't know anything about physics. They don't know anything about, I don't know, weather patterns. Like there's a lot.
Well,
actually, they might
go too far.
Yeah. And so I empathize with them as I shout at them to get out of the Christmas tree. But I'm good. I've also done zero Christmas shopping. And so that's a little bit on my mind, but I'm trying to not allow that to affect me.
Okay. Well, I say this in the nicest way. You have 6 days. So
I'm a little bit bothered because, for the last 2 years, I've been pretty anti-consumer era because our earth is dying. I'm Gen Z. I'm just extremely socially responsible, but it's more so that I live in a New York apartment. And I do think that being Gen Z in general and a dying planet makes you conscious of this, but especially when you live in a New York apartment and you just genuinely do not have the space for things, you become so conscious of how annoying junk is.
Yeah.
And then also I moved this past summer and so much stuff went into the garbage. Can I tell you something so heart-wrenching? And I'm not even not even heart-wrenching. This is gut-wrenching. I, in my last apartment, had a composting bin outside because we had a little outdoor space. We composted for a full year. And then when we went to move, we were moving the Monday after New York Pride. We had all been so crazy. All weekend, also June had just been a crazy month for us.
Yes.
We literally had to throw all of it away. Isn't that like so incredibly upsetting?
It so is until you kind of remember like the amount of mattresses that you see. Like it is so upsetting, but you see, I mean, that's like not the first you see a mattress like probably once a day on a New York City sidewalk. So I'm like, people are throwing away the mattresses, but that's like a lot of stuff.
Do you feel like you walk through kind of not as well off parts of town?
I feel like everyone throws. I feel like if you're throwing away a mattress, those are the well-off parts of town as you can get.
I guess that's probably true.
There's the people who are like replacing their mattress every 10 years, but I don't think it's like an unusual thing for there to be like a mattress on the sidewalk.
Real quick before we get into Christmas, holiday, families, the last thing I have to say about this is, did you see a few months ago when Mayor Eric Adams, before his fall,
he's still going. He's still the.
I didn't say he didn't get back up. I'm just saying before the fall.
Okay, right.
Yeah, he introduced garbage bins to New York City, and there's a video of him it was still nice out, so it was outside. It looks like a city council meeting event, very ribbon cutting type of energy about it, but there was no ribbon to be cut. It was just a real unedited video of him wheeling out a garbage bin, introducing it as the new innovative thing that was going to get trash off the streets of Manhattan, while Empire State of Mind played in the background.
Honestly,
work.
I wish him all the success in this endeavor. They do have garbage bins on like 46th Street. I think it's like a pilot.
Yeah, and he's wheeled out every single one of those himself.
We never said he couldn't do it, but he said, you know what, I will.
Yeah, no, he's a busy man, and honestly, I respect him for that reason, at least. Okay, Cam, we have to get into the holidays. We have to get into family, because that is why all of our listeners have come here today, to seek your specifically sage wisdom. So why don't you start with your father?
So the holidays are particularly a challenge for my family because we have one less member than we did when I was growing up, which is my father, who's no longer around anymore. So I think he passed away in like 2020. So I feel like the holidays have always been like a little different without him. However, we do have some like new additions to my family, which I think have made the holidays different, but still like merry and fun. I, like you, and like super excited to go home for Christmas. I actually have done a lot of Christmas shopping. My family goes like they go pretty hard for Christmas, good or bad, but I ship all that stuff to my mom's house, so I don't have to worry about that.
2 questions. First of all, do you or does anyone in your family get the sense that your father has been reincarnated into any of the new members? This happens sometimes. So. I swear to God, this happens.
Yeah, no, it does happen. I don't know. No.
Okay, so right now we're penciling in no.
No, we're gonna pencil in no on that one.
My second thing is, do you want to quickly tell the story of one of our first interactions regarding your dad's death?
Oh yes, actually. So this was back when. So my dad passed away in 2020 in September. And mind you, I just moved in with my new roommate who'd introduced me to Davis, and we were like still back in school in Indiana. And we had gone to, I think it was like Oliver Winery or something like that. Some like winery.
Yeah.
We were just kind of having like a Sunday fun day.
We've been drinking.
And and we were sitting back at home, and like this committee I was on at the time at IU had like done a really nice thing, and they had sent me like flowers for my dad's funeral, and I like brought them back to IU, and I think it was like probably my first couple days back at school. And so we were all drunk. We came back and we were just kind of like sitting on the couch, and it was dead silent. I think we had like maybe some music on, and Davis just like
I had gone to nap or lay down in Cam's roommate's room because everyone really was recouping, napping, resting, rallying. And then kind of in more the rally part of that, I had gotten up and kind of teetered into the living room where everyone else had been lying around, chilling, vibing.
And Davis says, he comes out and he looks at the flowers and kind of does, who died?
I go, nice flowers, who died? Which in my defense, I really did forget, actually. Like, first of all, I did not know Cam very well. Second of all, I truthfully had forgot. Like,
let me just say, you could have cut the tension with a knife. No one wanted to say anything, and I was just like, my dad.
And I was gagged, actually. I was fully gagged.
It was the first time Davis has ever been speechless, so those of you who know him, we'll leave it at that.
That was a special moment. And then months later, as Cam and I started to, I would say, foster more and more of a friendship, we happened to be at, I'm not going to get too into details, but it was
a Mean Girls themed party.
We'll
say that.
Yes, some 40-year-old gays were in the suburbs of Indianapolis through a Mean Girls themed like dance party in their basement. Nice house, gorgeous
Very
house,
nice house.
gorgeous house.
Yeah,
like all night long type of situation. Like all the gay, like there were Chicago gays showing up. There was a lot. People traveled across state lines.
No, they did
before this, and so it was also the night that R.I.P. Sophie. First of all, so like a lot of things were happening this night. And then I'm upstairs. I'm laying on the floor. I think I have like a pillow from my couch cushion. I'm like laying on the floor trying to get some rest for my aching bones around maybe 5 a.m. And then Cam comes up and he's like laying on the floor next to me. We're having like a, eye contact moment. Very Fault in Our Stars, I think, in a lot of ways, just at least in the tenderness of it all. And I just said, Cam, I think about that time I asked who died all the time. And I just want you to know.
No, you said, I think about it every day.
And then we kissed. No, I'm just kidding.
And the rest is history. And we've been going strong. What is it, 4 years now?
Yeah. And that was a really healing moment for us. Okay. Yeah. So time with the family. Is there any family trauma? Like, is there anything you have to navigate or things you have to kind of be mindful of when you're going back home to be around family?
I will say I've been blessed in this respect. As of lately, no. I know my immediate families, they've always been great, but I would say like even like my extended family were all very like good. I think the 2024 election, if anything, was going to throw a wrench in those plans, but I saw everyone for Thanksgiving. And, like we were able to keep things like cordial and friendly and happy and fun. So I like right now, thankfully, no family drama.
I love that.
What about you?
I don't have any family drama. And I mean, there's my aunt and uncle got divorced, but there's really nothing air outable.
Right.
I would say about that. So everything is pretty good. I kind of wish there was some drama because, some people talk about, I can't go home for more than, 3 to 4 days, which I think that's fair. I think that's generally the appropriate amount of time to go home, especially if you're like a New Yorker going back to Indiana, such as some of us are.
Right, culture shock.
But my reason for saying that certainly has nothing to do with arguing. It's more so just we have nothing to say. Like, I've gotten all the updates on everybody. I know who's pregnant, who died, who... I don't know.
There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah, who slipped and fell down, who got back up, whatever. I kind of would like there to be a little bit of drama. I will say, so I have a gay brother. Shout out Andrew. I think you're probably...
Wait, I thought he was bi.
Who are you kidding? Grow up. No, I'm just kidding. No, he does identify as gay now, okay. At least. Yeah. And he gave a fuck a lot more about what my parents thought. I luckily never did, which got me into trouble at the time because I was always grounded for sneaking out, underage drinking, things like that. But bitch, who's laughing now? Because he's really bothered about the homophobic things that my parents did as evangelical Christians of like the early 2000s.
Oh.
And
everyone was doing it back then.
No, exactly. Everybody, like, everyone was doing it. Everyone was doing it. And so, first of all, I don't really hold it over them. Also, to be even more honest, I really was not paying attention. Like, a few months ago, love him to death, like, he drunk texted, I imagine it was drunk texting, into the family group chat, like, hey, mom and dad, remember that time in 2005 when we were car shopping and you said you weren't going to get a Ford or whatever because they supported gay marriage? And first of all, they were like, no, we don't remember that. And I'm like, I certainly don't remember that. So every once in a while, he'll have a little something that comes up, which not even to like put him on blast because I think that's justified. You know what I mean? I think like people are allowed to be upset and process their feelings. I'm just gonna give him like 2 more years to do so.
He's like you've been out longer than he has.
No,
right?
I've been capital F faggot for a while. I would say he's like only now. I would say in the last year and a half, like he was quote unquote bi for a bit, and then gay, and then now he's like, then he was faggot, and now he's like capital Q, capital F, Queenie faggot.
Okay. I love.
As we all are.
Yes.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong.
And then the cycle, it all comes in circles, so we'll start again. But I think like when I'm just going to say when you're newly coming out, a lot of it is like you have to go back and look at like start reckoning with a lot of maybe the homophobic stuff that you've seen within your, whatever years of life. So I'm like, that it's a canon event.
Yeah. My big thing is when I go home, I definitely do feel a little bit of regression just in terms of
Same.
my mental landscape, like my habits. I think anytime I travel, I notice my screen time going up because if it's a party weekend or something like that, or that I'm traveling for, then there's all the rotting in bed recoup time where I might be on my phone. If it's family time, then I find myself again, sometimes I get bored and then I'll be going onto my phone. Also, I think it's just habit and we're all so addicted.
Right.
And then there's also just the actual travel time itself where way to airport, on plane, waiting at the airport. It's just a lot of time staring at your phone. And I don't know, I get caught in a dopamine addiction loop around it.
Right.
So far as that, when I get back into real life, I have to like really be conscious about like decreasing my screen time to its normal levels, which mind you, still quite high. Yeah. So when I'm at home, I went home for Thanksgiving and I kind of had a little bit of a breakthrough because I noticed myself after that first day starting to just like be in the family room on my phone, whatever. And I was like, oh, I can just not do this. I can go set this in the other room and then kind of break out of this norm where we have some conversation and then we're all just kind of coexisting.
Right.
Because I think what's easy to do, our phones are such crutches for us. And so it's easy to think, oh, well, what would we do? What would we say? What would we talk about? And the thing with all those questions like that I think in all social situations, whether it's family, friends, whatever, strangers, work people, you will figure it out in the moment. But like your brain isn't going to get creative enough to actually problem solve until you can't expect to have the solution before you've allowed yourself to step into the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's, it's totally accurate. I would say like the ways I feel myself regressing when I go home is like, I mean, like when I go home, I stay with my mom and like, I am so reliant on her just in a way that totally. I'm like, I'm a 26-year-old man, like 26 and a half. Like,
do you feel weird referring to yourself as a man? Sometimes I do.
Yeah, I actually tried it out there for the first. I just tried.
You just tried it out the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I get a little gung ho, life coachy, spiritual in my, I don't know, in what I'm saying, and then sometimes I'll hear myself murmur the term, "the man I'm becoming." And it kind of silences me for a second every single time.
Yeah.
And in that moment, don't get me wrong, I am totally a cis man. Even that feels kind of weird to say. But I'm a cis man. I do experience what I have to imagine is like a few notches off of like gender dysphoria.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I will say when I do go home, just to tie a bow on this, like last time I was home for Thanksgiving and I had forgot my contacts and I was going out to eat with some friends. And I didn't want to wear my glasses and I found myself like being upset and asking like my mom to fix it, even though there was no way she could possibly fix it. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, right. But if I was in New York, if I was at whatever, I would just been like, oh, well, it's kind of sucks and then leave. But I think that when I can feel myself kind of start to backslide to that extent, I'm like, all right.
No, 100%.
It's time for me to go.
I catch myself doing the same thing with, I guess, everything. But I know for a fact, one thing about me is that in order to feel good in a 4-day period, while I can relax and I can play and I can whatever, in a 4-day period, I need to do some working out. I like what I do for work and as a life coach and a trainer. So I need to like work in some way and feel as though I'm moving the ball forward.
Yeah.
I need to ideally be creative. I need to meditate. There's these physical, career, spiritual, social things that I know for myself. And I think as adults, we all have some version of this. We've, I guess, hopefully gotten clear-ish on at this point. And when I'm at home, again, we're lounging around, we're digesting from Thanksgiving for like 3 days, we're eating unhealthy foods from the kitchen because it's stocked up with sweets and whatever. So we're putting all this stuff in our bodies. We're not maintaining the habits that generally make us feel good because we just allow ourselves to take the foot off the gas completely. And then 100% then I'm like, Mom, you know what I mean? It's like, oh no, they're not holding me captive. Like I'm fully allowed to go drive myself to the local gym and get my little $10 day pass. Like there's
this $5 where I'm at. It's
welcome to rural Indiana.
New York. Yeah.
It's cheaper than the subway. Cheaper than my city bike ride.
No, I think like if I could put a bow on it, like that's the trick to going home is because you always feel like there's some type of regression. The trick to going home is like to keep like pushing yourself forward. And I feel like whatever goals, even if that's just like going to the gym or, that really is it. Because then like going home seems less dreadful.
You have to take responsibility for yourself. I think that's kind of what managing any relationship kind of comes down to. But for some reason, because we infantilize ourselves with family, which is understandable because you were in fact an infant with them. It's a lot easier to do to just shovel off your responsibility. And yeah, you have to be responsible for yourself. And I think, listener, if you just really focus on before the holiday, get clear on what you need. Get clear on what you
up to succeed.
Yes.
Yeah, during the holiday.
Know what your checkable boxes are. And that doesn't mean that you have to work out on Christmas. That doesn't mean that you have to, like, if you're an accountant, if you're an accountant and you're like, I actually don't want to do accounting work, that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that my recipe is the same as everybody else's, but I think it's valuable to be clear on what yours is.
Don't let your life stop when you go home.
Don't let your life get stopped when you go home. Yes. Do you have any Christmas traditions, Cam? Anything that makes Christmas especially wonderful for you that either the listener might like to hear about or that the listener could maybe learn something from?
Okay, so I will say with my dad's side of the family, we always do Christmas Eve. So that's always super nice, something I look forward to. I also me and my best friend Annie, shout out Annie. Every time she's home and I'm home, we go around and do our annual Christmas lights judging, which we'll typically do on like the 23rd or Christmas Eve, like late. So we go around, we look at everyone's houses, and then we give them our ranking from
by hand.
We do the top 3 best, top 3 worst.
You ring doorbells.
We ring doorbells. We pass out ribbons. No, it's all, but we know like exactly what houses are going to do what. And, we give them most improved. So, yeah, Town of Fowler, even though we have never probably told you this, you have that to look forward to when you come home.
I love that.
What about you? What are your like prize family traditions?
Okay. So this one isn't even a real one, but it's a really important story for me to share with you. And I cannot believe that I've not told you this before. Listener, I asked Cam if he had heard the story before, and he said no. So everyone's in for a treat here. My family was really active in the church. First United Methodist, shout out, growing up. And when I was in middle school, I have to say, there was a woman, shout out Cindy, I think. She wanted to do this thing for the congregation where all of the children could fill out these little slips with a Christmas tradition that their family had, turn it into a basket, and then she was going to make all these little booklets that at the Christmas Eve service, every family could have a little booklet to take home with them. And it would be, First United Methodist Church's family Christmas traditions. How cute.
This is so insane. I'm sure there's like every First United Methodist Church does that, but
so
I don't know your tea.
Yeah. So that was happening. And me, being a jokester, being the life of the party, I I put one in anonymously. I did not attach a name to it, but the Christmas tradition that I put on the slip was every Christmas Eve, my family brushes our teeth together and then we spend the night underneath the dining room table. And then,
You just lie. You lie, you lie, you lie.
and then she put it in the book. Because I think what's so great about it is it's don't get me wrong, I get that it's almost not believable, but it's
But
like
it
it's like a
is.
little bit believable, and more importantly, she couldn't not put it in there because imagine if it was real and some little kid actually did this and then his was the only one that didn't get put in the book, then he's gonna feel all weird. He's gonna feel ostracized. He's gonna be feel so embarrassed, like, oh my gosh, is my family crazy? Am I a freak?
This is what makes you one of the most insane liars ever is like you war game this out in your head already of like you're like, I knew she would have to accept it.
I knew she would have to accept it. So if you have, I don't even know what year that would have been, like 2012, First United Methodist Church Christmas tradition booklet, please shoot me an email with a picture of with a picture of it because I don't think my family has one. At Davis at wake.nyc. Um, no, but in all seriousness, my family doesn't really have a real Christmas tradition. We do the one gift on Christmas Eve, and it's always pajamas, which I heard Chapel Room tell Zane Lowe that she does the same thing.
I think
So
that's like it's
a
a lot
Midwest
of
princess.
families do
I
that.
think it's a Midwest princess thing.
No, it definitely is.
So if you're looking for a way to spice up your holiday season, I recommend judging Christmas lights. I
Mhm.
I recommend opening up some pajamas, putting them on, and I recommend lying. Honestly, I think it's really fun. And it's
Honestly, lies have been a bedrock of Christmas since forever. So I'm
oh,
like,
wait, honestly, Cam, you kept spilled.
I did kind of sell that one.
Yeah, Mary, Santa, and then like me.
Yeah.
Kind of like the three horsemen.
Yeah, right. Of the apocalypse.
All right, y'all. Well, now that we've wrapped that part up, I think it's time for us to move to your favorite segment, Not Me But a Friend.
Ooh.
So, for those of you who don't know, Not Me But a Friend is a segment where we share a story that happened to not us, but a friend, or maybe it did happen to us, and we are just too embarrassed to tell you about it. So, I'm gonna have Cam go first.
So is everyone familiar with Zens or like it's like the little pouches that you put in your cheeks. So
Yes.
I've been known to do Zens on occasion, but my friend
This is a nicotine thing, right?
it's a nicotine thing.
Okay.
So they're like typically the Zens come in like 3 milligrams, they come in like 6 milligrams. However, my friend, the first time she was like at a college house party and someone there had Zens and they were like, hey, do you want a Zen? And she, is like puffing on the jewel or whatever. And she's like, what are Zens? So he's like, starts explaining it to her. And then, she's like, you know what? Like, I'll do one Zen. So she like pops in the Zen. 30 seconds later is like, you know what? I don't feel it. I'll do another one. And they're 6 milligram pouches, which if you've ever done like a 6 milligram pouch, is intense. But she popped a second one in there.
For context, real quick, there was one time I had no idea what these things were, and y'all were doing them, and I was like, "Oh, what is it?" And no one really told me, but you're like, "Oh, open up your mouth." So I did. Immediately, like that thing was it. That thing barely made contact with the side of my cheek before it was tossed across the room. 100%. I had like a full body reaction to this.
Okay,
Go
mind
on.
you, that like might have been a 3 milligram. She had two 6 milligrams in.
Famously
And so
12.
she's famously 12 milligrams. So she's kind of like going with the burn at first. But if you know anything about Zens, like you don't start feeling it till like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes in. Anyways, she hits that mark, is like starting to feel a little bit woozy, goes to the bathroom, shuts the door, locks it, goes into the bathroom, and then she's like, oh my God, like I'm not feeling too well. Goes, sits on her knees by the toilet, is laying on the toilet, either passes out or falls asleep for like A few second, wakes up, throws up everywhere. Like, does not hit the toilet.
Is this a single person bathroom?
This is a single person bathroom.
Work.
So she's at a house party. There's vomit on the side of the toilet. She's passed out, woke up, and long story short, did not tell like the house hostess. She just like opens the door, makes a beeline to the exit, and leaves. So to this very day, she swears off sins with her entire being.
I think that's right. I think she's right to do that.
No, she absolutely is. I have never had this experience while doing Zens, but I have given them to people before who've like spent 15 to 20 minutes in the bathroom, but they've never had such a traumatic reaction as that.
Work.
What is your not me but a friend?
My not me but a friend is I have a friend who was hooking up with one of his coworkers. Kind of like, I think it seems like on and off again, I guess. No, just like they were just hooking up. He had been hooking up with one of his coworkers, and there was, I think he was like starting to not be so as into it, or like he had just, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just kind of like, you aren't as into it or whatever. And still, he was like a little bit into it. And so he had the coworker over, and they like, I don't even know, like they watched a movie, they hung out, they whatever. And then obviously, because like they had been hooking up, the coworker was like expecting also, it's like, you're coming over, you're watching a movie, like it's an understandable.
The writing is.
Yeah, it's understandable that this is like what is expected, even if it's not explicitly stated. And then, so like they kind of start to fool around, but the friend is like, my friend is not really fully into it. But the big problem is that the night before he had been at a party, and so he had taken a Cialis. And so if you know anything about Cialis, it stays in your system for quite a while. I think like over 24 hours, right? Some people say it's like 48, 36, right, or something like that. And so they're fooling around, and my friend's dick is just rock hard the entire time, which is understandably sending some mixed messages to his poor coworker. And so then they like take it to the bedroom, and the way it was presented to me is it went on for about 3 more minutes. And then my friend literally just goes, okay, I'm really tired, turns around and goes to sleep.
Yeah, I would think that would send some mixed signals.
So anyway, my heart kind of goes out to everybody involved because that sounds like that sucks.
I think I do feel worse for your friend, but I feel worse for the other guy too.
Yeah, L's honestly across the board.
L's.
Okay, we need to quickly wrap up with our will to live and reason to die. Cam, what do you got?
Okay, will to live this week. Well, actually, I'm going to start with my reason to die. I just want to say that, like, all the time on social media, they always talk on social media like, oh, da-da-da-da, this is such an unreasonable standard, da-da-da, this is such an unreasonable standard. Let's talk about unreasonable Christmas standards, okay? Every Christmas movie you watch in New York, let's talk Home Alone, let's talk Miracle on 34th Street, let's talk, there's many more, but we'll leave it at those two because those are the one I can think off the top of my head. They always have snow on the ground.
Okay. Girl.
Can I tell you?
Climate change.
No, I mean, that's what you think. Within the last 50 years, also, yes, I will grant climate change. Using Central Park as an estimate, do you know how many white Christmases New York has had in the last 50 years? What percentage?
In the last 50 years, I would say 20%?
15. Now,
I want to know what the split was like in the most recent 25 to the last recent 25.
Okay, I bet it's a little different.
Okay.
Let me just say this. I think with every Christmas movie that is made that has snow on the ground, and this is like even with the recent, you are setting up an unreasonable expectation for Christmas to achieve. Because if only 15% of Christmases are having snow on the ground, that is by definition the minority. So
Can I say something?
you can say something.
Can we move Christmas to January 25th?
I know.
Let's move
I've
Christmas
asked.
let's move Christmas to January 25th because honestly, we're hot off the heels of Thanksgiving. Having New Year's is honestly enough. Also, a lot of December is not that miserable. Like it's kind of cold sometimes, but it's not like, I know the days are the shortest. It's winter equinox or whatever it's called, but it's not that bad. It's not full depression, which is kind of like why they put it where they put it so that it would lift spirits. But I think we really need it at the end of January.
And I think the problem with this is like a lot of people think that Jesus was born on December 25th, which actually, this is like me putting on my sword hat and also getting outside the realm of all this. We don't know. We don't know like the exact day he was born.
Yeah. Anyways. Were you there? Nobody was there.
Nobody was there. I wasn't there.
It was away in a manger.
It was away. No, it was. Who's to say?
Yeah.
My reason to live, this week I got sick, which is actually why I'm struggling to talk. So this is my reason to live at the beginning, which might be my reason to die at the end. But I like woke up, I would say like 75% back to my full health. And let me just say, this was all because I stayed hydrated, I didn't drink alcohol, and I got 8 hours of sleep for like 3 days straight. And let me just say, they underestimate that shit because that'll do it for you like 9 out of 10 times.
RFK is trying to tell us. RFK is trying to tell us, but nobody will listen. Everybody is too focused on the bear on the car. Everybody's too focused. The whale on the car and the bear in the park. We need to move past that. We need to focus on the 8 hours.
I totally agree with you. Well, not with RFK, but I will say that.
Do you think he's hot? Yes or no?
Okay, your turn.
Okay. My will to live, 1-800-contacts. Because I did a big order, and I adjust. Because I'm getting older, which I know you can't tell, but I am. I had to get a slightly nicer daily contact lens, which daily's already more expensive, but I had to get a nicer one because my eyes get dry easier. So I had to like get more of a luxury brand, very luxurious. And so I did a pretty big order. Like, I don't know. I think it was like $600-$700 or something like that. Whatever. And I accidentally ordered it to my old address, which is literally 0.5 miles away from here. I immediately, like, as soon as I hit yes, complete order, whatever, I immediately saw it, clocked it. Luckily, 1-800-contacts makes it really fucking easy to get in touch with somebody immediately, send some messages back and forth. I'm like, tell them what happened. I'm like, can you correct the address? They're like, oh yes, we totally can correct the address, whatever. Contacts never come in. I get an email saying they got shipped to the other place. I'm like, honestly, not a big deal. I'll just go to the other place. I live so close. I have a good rapport with the landlord, not the landlords, but the super there. Go there. They're like, oh, we don't have it. Sorry. So I get on the phone with 1-800-contacts. I'm like, hey, this is what happened. You can see in the files I messaged. What the hell? They said, no problem, baby girl. I will send you another box. Perfect. I get the other box in the mail. Within 24 hours, my old super texts me, hey, we got the box. So I saved $600 because I'm fully stocked on contact lenses of the daily luxurious kind. And also, mind you, I didn't scheme. I didn't lie. I did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? It's not even like I need to feel guilty about this. This was the universe
giving back
to me the wonderful energy that I've been putting out to all of you people this entire time. And it feels so good to feel recognized.
I will say this could be mail fraud.
No, but I didn't. I guess like hooked me up to the lie detector. I told the truth 100%. My heart was in the right place. I was walking in God's white light. Because here's the thing, Cam, the truth vibrates at the highest frequency. And I told only the truth. Okay.
I mean, who can argue with that?
Thank you. All right. Real quick to wrap us up. My reason to die this is going to gag you. 1-800 contacts. Because
Who saw it?
Which it's not lost on me, listener, that my will to live in reason I were also city bike last week, but stick with me. Every single time I am watching a video on YouTube, I get a 1-800 contacts ad, if not multiple, which at first I would thought to myself, oh, well, at least it's clearly good market research data because they know who their consumer is. But then I kind of had to come full circle and realize, no, this is actually very bad research data because these are wasted ad dollars because I'm already a loyal customer and their ads are like quite grating. It's all these.
I will say having
YouTube Premium. Do you have Premium? Do you pay the $20 a month?
No, I don't. I will say having no something little about marketing, it's like the hardest group not to hit are the people who like you've already sold to. But like also those are the people that you want to hit because if they buy once, they'll probably buy again.
I promise I will come back. So like, can
maybe
I just
if you just tell them?
Yeah,
maybe send them an email.
Yeah, honestly, we talk on the phone, we email. Honestly, I need to do something like that because the ad itself is so grating. It's all these customer testimonials where they're like, come on with me to 1-800 contacts. You're not getting 1-800 contacts. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. And I'm going, like, it is about, if I ever stop buying 1-800 contacts, just know that that's why.
Let me just say that this entire thing was a 1-800 contacts ad, just like the ones you so despise.
I suppose that's true. And I think on that note, we're going to have to go. So listener, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to Spill. If you liked this episode, if it made you chuckle, if you learned something, if you feel more equipped for your holiday season, please like and subscribe. And I don't know if you can like and subscribe. You can subscribe and you can leave a 5-star rating. And more importantly than anything else, share with a friend because that is how podcasts grow. All right. Thanks so much, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.